And that is how we count them down from number 40 to number 1. That is this week's presentation of the 40 biggest hits in country music, compiled and ranked each week by MediaBase 24/7. And I got to say what's up to the CT40 staff, including Cody Culberson, the notorious DEP, Deborah Evans-Price, Nick Allen, Drew Brownfield, and Scott Mahalik. The Country Top 40 comes to you each week from the good folks at North Star Audio, and we do it all from the original CT40 studios deep in the heart of Texas. I am Fitz everywhere on social media. Just search 3 words, Fitz on Everything with a Z, Fitz on Everything, or our Country Top 40 with Fitz Facebook page. Hit that like button today, and I can't wait to see you next weekend. Can Ella and Morgan make it a three-peat? Well, we're going to find out together. Have a great week ahead. Remember to stay cool and think big, because you're thinking anyway. And who's better than you?
When it comes to internet, TV,
Southwest
and phone
Iowa's
service in
sports
Southwest
leader is
Iowa, trust the team that
96.5
calls this
FM.
area home.
KSOM.
Varney Oakland Communications delivers fast, reliable connections.
Bringing Southwest Iowa's sports live to your home. KSOM.
And how you doing, everybody? And welcome to the Backfield Bar and Grill. We are in Walnut, Iowa, and we're ready for our 3rd annual high school football preview show here on KSOM. We're also broadcast live on YouTube at Western Iowa Today TV. I'm Chris Varney, and we're ready to talk some football over the next several hours or so. We'll be live with a few coaches. We got about 6 coaches here that are going to be talking about their teams here, and then we have some other interviews with some coaches that weren't able to come, but we're glad that you could be here. And we're excited to bring our high school football preview show once again. And this time, I always consider myself kind of an antique. And so I'm in Walnut, which is the antique capital of the world. So we're excited about this. And let me tell you, this place, this Backfield Bar and Grill, if you've never been here, just right off the interstate, man. You get right off the interstate. It's right next to the gas station. You got to check this place out. They got TVs everywhere. They got games. They got pool tables. They got 3 different rooms and a complete menu of fantastic food. I think they just served the coaches one of the biggest pretzels I've ever seen. So we're excited to talk some football. And we're also thanking our sponsors here, Community Insurance, Conductic Swampler, Union State Bank, Barney Elkhorn Communications, Mertz Welding, Armor Insurance, Lyman Ag, FNB, Griswold Communications, Randy Schroeder, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Brumley Supplies, Cumberland Telephone Company, Hummel Insurance, Seed Pros, Messina Telephone, Olson's Fuel Supply, and Midwest Heritage. So let's talk some football. Joining us first is the head coach for the Atlantic Trojans, Joe Brummer. Coach, thanks for stopping by. And what about this place, man? This is a good place to watch a football game.
Yeah, no, my family and I visit here quite often. It's a quick, easy drive from Atlantic. Being from Harlan, it's a good halfway point. I've met my parents here. It's great. The stadium pretzel is amazing. Always good. That's a staple for us as well. And no, we frequent here a lot. We have a 2-year-old and 2-month-old. They love to run around. The games are a trap over there too for the parent, but they love them. It's good. And no, it's a great atmosphere and a good time that I can watch football. They can run around and everybody gets what they want.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's talk some football. You had a scrimmage last night down in Shenandoah. How are things going? What are you thinking after last night? I know it didn't maybe go exactly like you wanted to, but better to have it in a scrimmage than in a real game. Get the kinks out.
Yeah, we figured out a lot last night. It was a good look for us. Shenandoah did a lot of good things. Up front, they were physical. Running back, Gabe's really good. The Buttery kid's phenomenal. He did a great job running. And with us, we graduated 22 seniors from last year. That's 8 starters on defense and 7 on O. We got to figure out some kids, some younger guys that can play. We returned 10 seniors for this year's class, so we're going to be young. We're going to get some bumps, some bruises, some hard lessons, but the schedule for us is also tough with Glenwood, Des Moines Christian, Denison, Storm Lake to start the year is not exactly easy either. So it's good to get these lessons learned now, so we can adjust and move on. And we did see some good things out there. We got some young guys that stepped up in some big roles. When you start, 5 offensive linemen that are no seniors, you expect some growing pains and some stuff that we got to get better at.
So the biggest thing is quarterback. I mean, Zayden Parker was your guy last year. He's graduated. You're going to have to go in a different direction this year. Have you found a new starter?
Yeah, we got a couple of we have one old guy, Brandon Wagner's our senior. That Brandon took some reps last night. James Brower took some reps. After that scrimmage, it's something that we're still going to evaluate going into week 1. Between the young guy and then our old guy that's got some moxie, some veteran to him, that we saw some things both ways for them that they did positive, but it's still an open competition for us that we'll figure it out by week 1.
So you got some work to do yet to go and practice. What's going to go into your decision making to decide on who's going to get the start, and maybe are you thinking we could go to a quarterback rotation at least to start? Yeah, no, we're not. I'm not big on quarterback rotations. I like to solidify, get comfortable, and go with the guy. If we have to make a change mid-game, that's a decision and what it is. But I like to go with someone and give them the confidence that that's our guy. Looking at this one next week, film study Monday, who's going to respond, who's going to learn. And then it's still open competition and practice that reps are earned and playing time is earned. It's not going to be based off of one game decision or one outing that we need to still evaluate and see each week. Who gives us the best opportunity to win and who's going to go out and compete the best. So we're going to have some competitions this week, our 7-on-7, our open field, our running, weightlifting, that who's going to lead, who's going to be the guy that steps up, and that's the guy that we're going to roll with. Go into each one of those 2 guys a little bit and give me a sense of what their strengths are, what they can do, what type of quarterback they are. Are they similar? Are they different? Give us a little background there. Yeah, they're probably polar opposites if they ever get there. Brandon is our senior. B-Wags is, I think 5'9", 145, 150 pounds, but he's got the moxie. He goes in there, he commands the huddle. He's played wide out. He's played fullback. He's played running back. He's played tight end. He's played safety. He's played corner. We've bounced around everywhere. So he knows everything, that he can line the kids up. He knows if someone's got a question, how to answer it. He knows the alignment. He knows what we're looking for formationally. He's a senior that's played a lot of JV for us in different levels and capacities, so he's seen a lot of football and understands the offense and what it's going and what it needs to do. His skill set is definitely going to be the play action pass, the rollouts, and get him out of the pocket because of his height stature. That we got to make sure that we're mobile, we're moving him, and getting him out into space. James Brower's our sophomore. James is going to be the guy eventually. I just don't know if it's now or later. He's 6'2". He's a little thin still. He started on the basketball. He didn't start basketball. He played varsity basketball last year as a freshman. He runs well. He gets out in space and he can go. He'd be a little bit more quarterback run game type of stuff that we can implement with him. He's got the big arm. He's got the frame, the technique. We just need to put some weight on him just being a young guy. But we got to make sure that we're getting up to speed with. He's kind of, as a sophomore, understanding what his role is and what he needs to do. And then we got to get him to understand what everyone needs to do. As when you play quarterback, you got to be the general, the leader, and the guy that runs the show and answers all the questions. So we got to get him to the point that he's confident in his ability to answer everyone else's questions, not only the stuff that he has for himself. Well, whoever the quarterback is, they need to learn how to do one thing, and that's hand the ball off to Mr. Ethan McNeil. Last year, a great season, 331 yards. He's a state track athlete, amazing speed, gifted player. The only thing is he had Gavin McLaren in front of him. And now he's got to take the load on himself in the backfield. You think he's ready to do that? And I think he's got the ability to just be the man and be the workhorse and build your offense around that guy because he could break at any time. Yeah,
I think Creston, he had the ball for 38 carries. He can
so
take a load. Yeah, no.
he can handle it.
He had 38 carries for 120 some yards. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We ran lead off tackle for 4 yards a pop. That's 3 plays and a first down. That's not anything that we're going to stop. That's not good football to be like, hey, let's change that if we get 4 yards a pop going into the third quarter. So no, Ethan's the guy. He's at running back. We kind of have a luxury there of trying to get those guys in. Xander Killian, also state track kid. Xander was high hurdler in the shuttle hurdle, almost qualified in the open 110 hurdles or whatever it's called outside of shot and disc. It's not my realm there. But he's another state track guy. Benny McLaren, also Gavin's younger brother, would be another running back that saw some time for us last night too. That it might be being able to keep him a little bit fresher by being able to rotate some of those guys back there in the backfield, because we got to find a way to get our athletes the ball. It can't just be hey diddle diddle Ethan up the middle. We got to figure out some stuff there that we got to spread some love, get the ball around. Landon Hagen's another state track kid. Qualified in the open 4 that he's got some speed, he's got some athleticism to him that we got to be able to get him the ball as well. So we got to spread some things out, actually throw the ball a little bit. Pains me to say it, but we can't be so one-dimensional. We got to get spread the love and get our athletes out into space.
Yeah, is that a new Mother Goose rhyme?
Yeah.
Hey diddle diddle.
2-year-old
Ethan up the middle.
2-year-old and 2-month-old. We've been in a lot of nursery rhymes in the house. We got that on lock.
How about up front on the offensive line, those big eaters? They could probably put this place out of business if they come in here and chow down. What do you like about your O-line coming in?
We're young. We're experienced with being together. It's a group that they play football together. They wrestle together. Some of them go to some ace wrestling on the weekends or best wrestler that they're around. They're always together. When that one rolls in, there's 2 or 3 that they've been in the parking lot hanging out together. They drive to school together. Some of them live kind of far away. They're country kids that drive in, and they're a really tight-knit group. Owen and Traven, Owen Miller, Traven Thomas are 2 returning guys for us last year. They started as sophomores, with 3 other seniors. So now it's their turn to step up and lead rather than just be the guys. They were all district football players and a really good district for us last year. I believe they're both second-team guys that now they're expected to lead, and they've done a good job. Those 2 have been phenomenal. They're 100%ers in our weight lifting in the summer and the spring. Owen went to Fargo up in North Dakota and wrestled, and then came back down and made Simpson camp, drove himself down there to make it. They're not really big on excuses. So those 2 are going to be 2 guys that we lean on really heavily. It's filling in the other 3. We've had some guys that we rotated there. Jake Wales was a thought for a little bit if he's going to go at fullback or at linebacker or at guard for us. We had a new transfer in last year from Hudson, Craven Wiersma. Craven's 6'5", 200 and some pounds. If we can put him at a guard or a tackle. Colin Cleaver's a young man. He's a wrestler. He's one of those kids that he's out for wrestling to get better for football. He's not really, wrestling's my love, my sport, but he understands there's a role, there's a job. I might not be the superstar, but I'm going to help my team and I'm going to contribute and get better for the stuff that I want to be in. Which in day and age now is huge. If kids aren't the stars or they're not the best at it, sometimes they don't go out for those sports anymore, which is really disappointing with the specialization period that we're kind of in. That it's refreshing to see a Callan that he's still doing stuff. He's still a 3-sport athlete that's involved and doing stuff to get better for the stuff that he loves in football. And then last night we started left tackle as a sophomore. Caden Elks, 6'4", 200-plus pounds as a sophomore, that he's just a baby out there that we got to get his feet wet in a hurry. And there's no time like the present when you play Glenwood and get to go up against Boothie every play, who's going to the University of Minnesota. As you're going to figure it out real quick if you can do it or not. There's no days off in our schedule that Caden's going to have some baptism by fire and some learning moments, and it's only going to benefit us up more in the future. The more that he learns, the better that he gets. You mentioned Jake Wales possibly playing offensive line. I think that's a tribute to him as a football player. He was obviously your leader on defense last year, 69 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss. I mean, the kid just plays, and that's what you need on defense too. You need somebody that, I don't know if he's a vocal guy, but certainly a guy who can lead by example either way. What can you say about Jake and what he means to you defensively and just being the guy who can
step up and do something when you need it.
Yeah, Jake's a vocal guy.
He is? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately it's about fishing a lot of days though, and I hate fishing. So he's vocal about his fishing. He loves it.
He brags about fishing.
Yeah, no, she's on the Southwest Iowa fishing team. Jake's actually a really good fisherman. I won't admit that to him. Hopefully he's not listening. But no, Jake's really good when it comes to being a vocal leader. And it started his sophomore year in the weight room. He started at linebacker for us as a sophomore, and he was in between sets. He goes, "Hey, Coach Brummer, look at this," and he like gets in an O lineman stance and does his kick step backwards. He goes, "If you need me, let me know." Like, I'm not going to need you. Well, now that he's a senior, we've put that into practice, and I'm like, "You're going the wrong way. We don't kick step. Like, you got to go forward." He goes, "Oh, that's easier. Like, that's better." So Jake's one of those guys that, he's kind of goofy. He's got that personality that keeps it light and airy, but like on Friday nights, he's got to switch. So he wears a cowboy collar. He's old school fullback, like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, gets up and headbutts someone and then gets back in the huddle. Like, he loves every second of it. He's a great kid. He's a good job at, being that team player and that role player that if you need me to play O-line, he puts on 54. If I got to go play fullback, I put on 46, and we'll take off the jersey and put on a different one, and he's ready to go. So it's just one of those things that kind of speaks to his selflessness and, his team aspect and wanting to get better for how we can win on Fridays rather than what looks good for me on Fridays.
Have there been any surprises for you so far this offseason?
Positive surprises. We had a couple guys that came back out this year. That we had some guys that decided that they didn't want to do football or it was too much work in the off season with weights and this and that. That we've had some young men come back, which has been great. We gained some numbers there out of our junior and sophomore class, which makes us about 22, 23 in both of those. So the numbers have been good there. That's been a nice surprise. As far as, the personnel that we had coming back last year, I thought we had a really good summer. We had Peak Performance was someone that came in for us. Our strength guy left, or he told us he wasn't going to come back in the summer stuff in April. So we were kind of scrambling there to try to figure out what we were going to do. And, we have Bobby for our athletic trainer as it is, and they came in. I thought we had a really good summer. The surprises have been like on the field from the weight room stuff. The kids that have committed, the kids that have been there have grown leaps and bounds. The flexibility, their strength, their speed overall. We have about 4 or 5 kids that can run between 4.6, 4.7. Ethan runs like a 4.5. That overall our team speed should be good. We just got to bring the confidence that comes with it with experience. They're young. We got a bunch of sophomores, a bunch of juniors that are going to be playing. That we just got to get their confidence up and make sure that that goes with the overall ability that I think we've gained from the summer months.
So who do you have in the opening game?
Glenwood,
the Rams. How are you feeling about them? I mean, they were pretty tough last year, if I recall, and I don't know what they got coming back next year. They got everything back. Okay. So what's going to be the biggest challenges this week then? Size.
They're big up front. Boothie, I think he's 6'7", 315 going to Minnesota or something like that. I know he's going to Minnesota. He's something big like that. When you have 3 heavyweight wrestlers that wrestle 285 and they stick out for wrestling because they just want to get better for football. We watched some film on them last night, and their scrimmage, they have kids from the other team just tapping their head because they're done. Like they're out. Like when you go like 300 pounds and 3 to 4 positions on your offensive line and can move, it's going to be a physical game. They want to run the ball. They returned both their quarterbacks from last year that they saw both of them. That it's 1A, 1B, a lefty and a righty that can sling it. They got another Longmire kid that can flat out fly at wide receiver. They don't play a ton of guys both ways, being a big 4A school with numbers-wise. I think they have 40 kids out for their freshman team. It's going to be a good challenge. Week 1 with Glenwood, it's a good opener to see what we're made of and how mentally tough we're going to be because, we got to go to Glenwood. Last time we played up there, we weren't supposed to win. We weren't supposed to hang with them. We weren't supposed to compete. We ended up winning that game in overtime. So it's just one of those things that's why you play the game on Friday nights. High school football is a great thing it's a special place where the 5'10", 175-pound kid that's got a motor can compete and do great things against the D1 athletes. So we got to remind our kids of that, and we got to go out, compete, and execute at a high level.
Coach, really appreciate your time. Glad you could stop by here at the Backfield Bar and Grill and looking forward. We'll be, of course, covering Atlantic football all season long on our sister station, KS95.7 FM. The voice of the Trojans in the house himself, Tom Robinson, and he'll have all the games for you, including Friday against Glenwood. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
And Joe Brummer, head coach for Atlantic football, joined us here. We're live at the Backfield Sports Bar and Grill in Walnut. We got more in our high school football preview show coming up here on KSOM.
Remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan. Oh, come on, ref! That's simple human sense.
Call Community Insurance in Audubon today at 712-563-4422 or stop by at 422 Tracy Street in Audubon. Join the team at Conductix Wampler. They are currently looking for a night shift supervisor Monday through Thursday. They offer competitive wages and an excellent benefits package in a work environment that truly values its employees. If you're looking for a company that cares about your growth and success, apply today. Learn more and apply online at conductix.us or apply in person at 1605 Industrial Parkway, Harlan. Conductix Wampler are proud to be an equal opportunity employer and strongly encourage military veterans to apply.
Union State Bank is a full-service bank established in 1890. We are a family-owned independent bank serving individuals, businesses, and farmers. With locations in Greenfield, Bridgewater, Corning, and Adair, Union State Bank offers competitive and personalized services. The courteous, helpful employees are there to help you with your every need. Union State Bank is an equal opportunity and housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
When it comes to internet, TV, and phone service in Southwest Iowa, trust the team that calls this area home. Varney Elkhorn Communications delivers fast, reliable connections for families, farms, and businesses. And we don't just stop there. We proudly support our youth, sporting events, and all the communities we serve. Because we're not just your provider, we're your neighbor. Now offering voice over IP phone service to businesses. Varney Elkhorn Communications, powered by fiber, driven by community. Powered by fiber, driven by community.
High school football on KSOM.
And we are back here at the Backfield Bar and Grill, Backfield Sports Bar and Grill in Walnut. It is football time. We love it. It's gearing up. We had a week 0 game last night. Was in Griswold, and a good football game with the Tigers and 8-man winning over East Mills 20-6. Let's go to 8-man football. Let's go up to Audubon. Sean Burks, head coach for the Audubon Wheelers, with us here. And Coach, thanks a lot for stopping by. What a great place to sit here and talk some football.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been here, and it's a whole different setup. Looks really nice. I'm going to test out the menu when I'm done talking to you, so let's not make this take too long.
Okay, let's get into it then. I mean, 11-1 last year, get to the Dome, semifinals, ran into, I think it was Bishop Garrigan, tough football team. But the funny thing is going off of last year, I remember none of the preseason ranking people, I don't know how much you go into that, but it seemed like your kids, that you weren't even talked about in the preseason rankings. And I think your kids kind of fed off of that last year, and it really worked to motivate them. What do you see as a motivating factor maybe for your team to try and gear them up this year? Is it maybe trying to take it a step further?
Yeah, the outside noise was an easy extra motivator last year because we knew, and we told preseason people in our area that we felt like we really liked the group we had, and we felt like we were disrespected. We felt like we could really overachieve last year based on those preseason prognostications, and so that was easy. Tell the kids, we're disrespected, play that undercard role. But we really knew, last summer in the weight room, last fall early in camp, we felt really good about our crew and just the way our pieces complemented each other. It was a really fun group, and yeah, I mean, we surprised maybe some people across the state, but I don't think we surprised anybody in our locker room, in our community that kind of saw it going from round of 6 to round of 8, round of 16 to round of 8 to round of 4. And we bring a lot of those pieces back. So now the target's on our back, but our kids haven't lost a district game in 3-4 years now, whatever it is. We've got a lot of streaks going on. We've got a lot of things to be really proud of, and we always have a target on our back in our area. Everyone on our schedule from last year, the second year of the district cycle. Everyone in the regular season except for Lennox, as a team that we played last year and we beat last year. So that revenge factor is going to be there. So being motivated, we set our high standards, we set high goals, and we challenge our kids to go out and get it. And our kids are really motivated. They want to go back to the Dome. They want to go win a state title, all those things. And we'll talk about it, occasionally, and we'll approach it, and we're going to embrace that target on our back.
Well, I vote every week in the Radio Iowa football poll. I think I voted you guys 3 last year to preseason, so I knew you were going to be good, but I think the rest of the state caught on pretty darn quick. And the best thing about it is you got a lot of guys in the skill spots coming back. I mean, with Aiden Kiergaard, they're coming back the following year, too. I mean, Aiden Kiergaard, Mason Kasperbauer. I mean, Jorgen Nowatzki is even a guy who couldn't get involved in the offense last year. I mean, what's that like to be working with them again and see how far they can even push themselves?
Yeah, we've got a plethora of weapons, and the majority are juniors. Yeah, Aiden at quarterback, Mason at running back, senior Carter Obermeyer going to rotate in at running back a little more this year now that he's healthy. Then we can spread it out, put Paxton Bean and Jorgen Nowatzki on the outside, use them in the jet sweep game, use them in the pass game. Hudson Hooker, Ty Bowl, and Alex Hinkle, all three get rotating in at different tight end and H-back spots. So I can call it a formation, and 2 guys go in, 2 guys come out. We want to go big, we want to go small, we want to use motion, we want to use play action, whatever it is. We've got some really nice weapons that can block and can be explosive, whether it's being handed to them, thrown to them, whatever it is. But it all starts up front. We've got 3 really big seniors up front. When you go, 4-year starter at center is really big, just that cohesion piece. Clay Van Arnham's kind of a rock for us, 6'2", 220 captain. Then on his side, he's got 2 kids that are 6'4", 240, and 6'3", 265, or whatever Lane Meyer and Hayden Larson are right now. So 3 seniors that have played a lot of football together. That offensive line cohesion is always really big, and then that center quarterback as well. So when you return those pieces right there, Hayden played a lot more defense last year. He's coming right back to play both ways a little more for us this year. So a couple of those senior positions, from last year have graduated. So we're working it in, but. Yeah, offensively, we feel really, really confident right now that, a lot of those pieces come back and a year stronger, a year bigger. And, when you can trot out 6 guys up front with our 3 tight ends and 3 O-linemen, and the smallest guys, maybe 6'2", 215 out of those 6, we'll take our chances running at people quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you do lose some pieces from last year, like an Austin Christensen who played linebacker and was a receiver for you. Brody Weber was a tremendous pass rusher. I can't talk enough about that kid a year ago. I mean, but how do you feel about the defense? And that was really one of your strengths. I mean, we always know that the offense was so explosive, but the pressure that your defensive front, I mean, I remember the Cam game, and Zach Coppin just could not, I mean, as soon as he snapped the ball, he was running for his life back there. How do you feel about maintaining that pressure with your group this year?
Yeah, that's probably the bigger question. Offensively, we returned a lot more than defensively. And the impact our seniors made were a little bit more on defense and offense anyway. So that's big for us. Right now, Austin Christensen's linebacker spot is something we've addressed all offseason. And Carter Obermeyer is going to slide into that mic for us. We feel really good. He's healthy. He's moving really well. He had a good wrestling season. He's confident. He's going to surprise some people. Last year, he was kind of a role player, and this year he's going to step up in his own. Kind of that senior year, fresh and healthy finally. And then we'll rotate some other pieces around that. Mason Kasperbauer can play safety or linebacker. Aiden, Jorgen, Paxton can all play defensive back. So defensive line is a little more rotation basis, a little more, play the hot hand, play the fresh body. When we can play Hudson Hooker, Ty Bolin, Anthony Young, open enroll student for us, can also play defensive end. So we feel really good about 3 to 4 defensive ends, along with Hayden Larson coming back. Mm-hmm. And then inside, we have Chase Buck, kind of that Isaac Sorensen nose guard, run gap filler, bigger body. He's against a power run team, we can play Chase, and against different teams, we can rotate one of those defensive ends into play nose. Clay Van Arnhem could come from the offensive line. So, we've got 6 to 8 bodies that we feel like we can find the right time to play defensive line. We're trying to get guys that can play fresh and, play offensive line, defensive line, and platoon a little bit. But, a little more committee on the defensive line right now. But we'll figure that out. The scrimmage was good to get some reps last night, and it'll sort itself out.
Sean Burks, head coach for Audubon, with us here on our high school football preview show. John Becker does games with me, and so last night he was telling me you got another kicker from Europe He's from Germany.
Yeah.
You got a pipeline into Europe. I mean, it was Orm Voigt last year. I forget where he was from, Switzerland or Austria or something like that.
Sweden, I think.
Sweden, maybe. Yeah. And now you got a German kicker. Tell me about that.
Yeah, equal opportunity kickers throughout Europe. You know, we don't get picky on the country as long as they can kick. No, Audubon's had a really strong history of foreign exchange students. There's been years that we've had. Go back to 10, 15 years I've been in Audubon. Almost every year we have one or two, and then COVID hit, and that kind of slowed down a little bit. Now we've got that pipeline opening up a little bit more for athletes and non-athletes. Last year we had Orm, but we also had a kid that played tennis with Carl was his name. So we've had one or two most years, and a lot of times those kids that grow up in Europe grow up playing soccer, haven't played a lot of football. Jacob, our kicker this year, he's not a big fan of the shoulder pads and helmet and the tackling, and we're just hoping when he kicks off, it goes into the end zone because he's not real keen on the follow the kick down and cover thing. So we'll see what that brings. But last night I think we were 5 for 6 on PATs, and everyone was mocking me like, "Are you really going to kick PATs? You always go for 2." I'm like, "Well, we've gone for 2 because we've had to go for 2. If I can hold up one finger and trot out and feel pretty good that we're going to do that, if you pull up the association record book, I think we still hold the PAT record from 2017, I believe. We had a single game. I think we made 13 PATs up in Correctionville. So there's been years we've done it, and I'd like to because as coaches will tell you, if I can take the amount of time prepping for kickoff coverage, different squibs, different onsides, what's our coverage net look like, and then PATs and 2 points and having packages in for 2 point, if we can just say it's pretty much automatic touchback and PAT feels pretty automatic, that's a lot of practice time we get back, and that's really big to spend more time on other areas. So last night we trotted out, and he made 5 out of 6, and he was mad he didn't make the 6th one, and it wasn't his fault. It got blocked. So he's got the leg to kick some touchbacks, PATs, and if we get in the situation, we could kick a field goal as well.
What's his name again?
Jacob.
Jacob
Kurzewitz. It's German. I kind of butcher it, but it's softer. Kurzewitz is what we're going to call him for today.
Kurzewitz.
I just call him Jacob, to be fair.
Jacob. Yeah. Jacob K.
Yes.
Jacob the kicker. Well, we'll have to talk about it. How's his English? I mean,
pretty good. Pretty
good English.
He's living with a football player, Paxton Bean. So he's been around it a little bit more and understands it a little bit more every day, and he's understanding what's necessary and asking if he can go kick and trying to learn the game. So I think he's also going to be a kid as he sees more and feels more. He's going to get more reps, but. The first day down there, kids are seeing him and they're raving about him already because it just kind of jumps off his foot. And like for us, for our defense, if we can start people on the 15-yard line and they're not in 4-down territory, and you can take that offensive play away from teams that put Caden Oswald for Coon Rapids Bayard, jumps to mind. There's been kids in the past when you have to game plan on how to not kick it to Lane Speaker and guys like that. It's if you can kick it in the end zone, it's a big difference in 8-man.
Yeah. Paxton Bean is another kid. I mean, he actually impressed me a lot when he came into the game. I mean, a quarterback, he would come into the second half. It's sometimes not easy to do that when you're up by a ton and everything like that. Seems like he could be a starting quarterback on just about any other team. How much of a luxury is to have? You had depth at that position, last year, and it looks like you have that again. Aiden, you don't want him to get hurt, but he's got to feel good to have somebody back there who could run the offense.
Yeah. I'll be the first to tell Aiden that Paxton's the only one that threw a touchdown pass in the scrimmage last night too, which will help the quarterback room. But Paxton just does what's best for the team. There's times he's there's times he's out on offense based on formations. He's ready to go. He understands the playbook. We can hand him the jet sweep. We can put him at quarterback. We can hand it to him at running back. We can put him back on punts or kicks. He's a dynamic weapon. And I think there was a stretch last year, week 7 maybe, where he was our leading ball carrier because he got that many carries on Friday night. This year he won't have to do it on Monday. We'll have a different JV quarterback right now, so he can really focus on playing both ways on offense and defense. And yeah, he's a weapon for us, and it's a luxury because you look at our weapons and Aiden, Mason, Carter, Jorgen, Paxton, Ty and Alex are going to be 2 tight ends we mix in, and then Hudson Hookers are going to really make a name for himself this year, kind of taking over Austin Christensen's role.
One of the things that really stood out to me with the Audubon baseball team in the summer was the Miller boys, and I was told they do play football. What have you seen? Are they going to make a mark on varsity, or are they going to be stuck behind all those guys you just mentioned?
For us right now, we've got about 14 to 15 juniors or seniors that are getting all the playing time. We've got a sophomore, Brody Otten, that's trying to crack it into the lineup on linebacker and maybe backup running back. But right now, we're fortunate. But we talk to the kids. There's more than 16 starting spots. We've got punt coverage, we've got punt return, we've got kick coverage, kick return. So if we can start getting some of those freshmen, sophomores, and I think you're going to start to see some of those kids make their name, and we want them to embrace that. On Friday night, you're a kick coverage starter. You're a starter on this team. You might not be playing offense or defense, but find those roles. So I think the other day at practice, on Thursday night, I said if you started on offense or defense or kick coverage or kick return, anything, go stand on this side. And I think we had like 22 kids, where 22 kids have a separate role on varsity on a Friday night. An 8-man program, that's a luxury. But the challenge is, can you get it done? We're not just going to hand you spots just so we can say we have more starters or platoon. We're not going to risk that for the varsity guys. So can we trust you, and can we trust even more of you to move up here and take more spots? So there's going to be some guys that are rotationally. What Dawson and Dalton are 2 kids right now that are going to play some JV linebacker. But Charlie Hooker's a freshman that is probably one of our next defensive backs in. He rotated in with the varsity a little bit last night. Brody Otten's a sophomore that rotated in. Cam King's a sophomore that rotated in a little bit. But yeah, we've got a luxury right now where a lot of juniors and seniors are going to play O&D. But hopefully we get some leads in games like we did last year when Paxton got some time, get some of those freshmen, sophomores, some roles to keep building that depth.
Who do you have this coming week, week 1?
We traveled to Remsen, a place we've traveled more often than I think we've traveled there. I think if I look back right, I think we've traveled to Remsen played Remsen more in the last 10 years than anybody besides Coon Rapids Bayard. So just with the way different districts have shaken out, we've kind of changed who we play in our area. Some years 2 cycles ago, or the last cycle, we went to Baxter and St. Ed's and people over east. So we haven't even played. Cam is often, or Coon Rapids Bayard is the only one that's been with us the whole time. And Remsen's a team we've seen in the playoffs. 2019, we played them both regular season and the playoffs. So it's a program we're really familiar with. We have a lot of mutual respect. There's a reason we put each other down to play each other in the non-district for this cycle, and most cycles we've seemed to play each other. Tim does a great job. They've had multiple undefeated seasons and state titles. And they do it right. They coach them up the right way. Their fundamentals are good. They're well coached. It's a team we like to play week 1 because we know they're going to be prepared for us, and they're going to give us a really good look. They had a week 0 game last night. They beat Arweva 68-7 or whatever it was. So
it was a blowout.
Yeah, they're going to be. People are going to look at our game last year, and you got to throw that out because they were returning very little from the year before, coming from a state title. They rolled out, I think, 7 starters on offense that were new or something like that. And they're primarily sophomores. Their first real game, playing against our kids in Audubon, and we kind of blew their doors off. And then they got better as the season went on, as new starters and sophomores are going to be. Now they've had a full off season. Those kids are juniors. We've been there. We've done that. We've had some times like that. So we've got to understand that they're going to be hungry. They're going to be motivated. And to be quite honest, we've never won in Remsen. We've played them a lot in both places. We played them in Remsen. We played them in Audubon. We've played them in the Dome. We've never gone to Remsen and come home with a win. So that's the challenge.
They had to forfeit a game or 2 last year. They ran out of numbers, and so you thumped them pretty bad to start the year last year. So you're right. I mean, they've reloaded.
And they've joined a co-op with Siouxland Christian. So Siouxland Christian is with Remsen under the Remsen name. So they've made a co-op and returned a ton of kids. So they'll be a much different team than we saw last year as far as just potential and talent, because week 1 last year compared to week 1 this year, with all those kids with experience and some possible roster additions from Siouxland Christian, it's going to be a challenge next week that maybe not enough people are really understanding early in the year. They're going to be ready for us.
Yeah. Well, some big games coming up. I always say that when I set my schedule for the season, I always put Cam and Audubon down for a broadcast, and then we just start scheduling around that. And so we'll be there for that. And then right after that, then we're heading back to your place for Fremont Mills. So we're looking forward to that. And maybe some more games in the postseason. Let's hope. So.
Yeah, we've got a really tough non-district schedule. Our 3 non-district games are Remsen, St. Mary's, Fremont Mills, and Lennox. With 2 of those on the road to opposite directions of Iowa. And we scrimmaged last night against Bedford and Woodbine. In our district with Cam. That's a homecoming game. You'll be there. That'll be a fun one in the middle of the year. Coon Rapids Bayard's getting some preseason publication. It's a tough schedule, but we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime, and we're excited for the year ahead of us. And one game at a time, one day at a time, and hopefully we give you an opportunity to keep covering games into the postseason.
Absolutely. CRB lost a shootout last night to KP, so that's good. Coach, really appreciate your time. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Get yourself a little bit of lunch here at the Backfield Bar and Grill, and we look forward to following your team throughout the season. Thanks so much.
Thanks for the coverage. Thanks for putting this on. Appreciate it.
Sean Bergs, head coach for Audubon. We are at the Backfield Bar and Grill. We still got Tri-Center. We got Nottoway Valley. We got Riverside. Trainers, Jeff Casey also is going to be coming here. We are talking high school football, and we're back after this 2-minute break here on KSOM.
Since 1952, the family-owned Mertz Welding has provided quality welding and fabrication in Carson. They specialize in rebuilding and remanufacturing everything from light to heavy equipment with a variety of machines and welders. There isn't a job Mertz Welding can't handle. For more information, stop in at the shop in the west end of Broadway in Carson or give them a call at 712-484-3821. Mertz Welding is a proud sponsor of Riverside Athletics.
Every client's needs are unique. At Armor Insurance, we're dedicated to getting you the best coverage at the best price. How do we do it? By working with multiple trusted insurance carriers. Why? Because one size doesn't fit all. Neither does one carrier. As your agent, we will work to find the right coverage that fits your home, auto, farm, crop, business, life, or health insurance needs. We don't just offer options, we inform you about them, ensuring you understand your choices from coverage through claims. So here at Armor Insurance, we're here to protect you. Armor Insurance with locations in Atlantic, Griswold, and Council Bluffs.
Farmers don't choose seeds from a brochure. They choose it from relationships built over time. That's why Lee Satoff with Channel Seeds at Lyman Ag Supply knows he's not just selling seed. He's helping protect your livelihood. From choosing the right products to checking crops through the season and standing with you long after harvest, Lyman Ag is there year after year. Expert guidance, trusted partnership, proven products. And remember, at Lyman Ag Supply, their goal is your profitability. Call Lee, 712-249-4988.
Since 1905, F&B Bank has been partnering with you to ensure the best banking experience. Still today, F&B Bank is committed to be the stable partner that agriculture communities rely on. F&B understands the commitment, risk, and sacrifice you make every day in your business and way of life. F&B believes customer service and a handshake is what builds strong partnership and is committed to that partnership in our communities. Give F&B a call. Better yet, stop in. They're here to help you achieve your goals. F&B Bank, Fontenelle, Anita, Greenfield, and Messina. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Southwest Iowa's sports leader is 96.5 FM, KSOM.
And we are back here at the Backfield Bar and Grill. Appropriate that we do a high school football preview show in the backfield. So let's roll on. Let's go over to Neola and Tri-Center. They have a new head coach this year, Jake Gentili, with us here on KSOM. And, Coach, thanks for stopping by and appreciate it. You're decked out in your Tri-Center Trojan gear. And did you have a scrimmage last night?
Oh, we did an inter-squad soap scrimmage, so just kind of went between ourselves. We were fortunate enough, Coach Faust invited us a few weeks ago in fall camp to do a little team camp scrimmage. So we went against Glenwood and AL. I think it was a good test for us, obviously going against some larger schools. And we had a good idea of what we saw and what we needed to adjust in there. And so we decided to make the decision to just keep it as a practice, continue to build on what we're working on, and attempt to stay healthy.
So you were at Tri-Center, I think it was 2017. We talked a couple of weeks ago or so, and now you're back. How's it feel to be back and get settled in here and get ready for your first game?
It's been great. Obviously, the community is something that's a tight-knit family. They've welcomed us with open arms. We have a lot of new staff and some old staff that's returning that's been around for a while, and so it kind of feels like home. There hasn't been a whole lot of change since I've been gone. It's still a similar community, similar town, similar people. So right now we're just working on building on what they built in the last few years.
Yeah. The position opened up. Pudge, I guess, is still helping out on the staff, but he had to step away from the head coaching job. How has he helped you kind of assimilate yourself back into the community and to the football team?
Yeah, Pudge has been awesome. It's incredible to have a person of his stature that's in the community that decided to stay on staff and help out. He's loved by the kids. He's loved by the team. Ryan Schroeder is someone who I'm familiar with. Ryan still helps out. He runs our weight room, does an incredible job. If you've been around and you've seen some of the workouts these kids go through, there's a reason that we coach now and are not a part of that. It's tiring to watch. So both of those individuals have been great figures to learn from, help out. There's a lot of stuff that you learn as a first-year head coach, and they've been great in helping kind of guide what those expectations are, what to expect, and how to prep and plan for that. So I couldn't thank them enough for what they've done so far.
How have the kids adapted to you?
There's a few practices with some conditioning. I'm sure they made some voodoo dolls, and we're not some fans of some of that. We've adjusted a few things on how we practice and how we temper expectations. We're not going to hold back from what our end goal is, and I think that's something that we preach to these kids is that day in and day out it's going to be intense. You come to practice, it's intense. If you've been around it, our staff that's been around it, some of it's new. That expectation of what we are trying to achieve is a high goal. And so we're not beating around that bush, and how we practice, how we match our physicality, how we condition, and how we understand the playbook. It's a little bit different of a playbook. We got a new offensive coordinator this year, Coach Colgett. He's out there in the back. JD, he's been with me for a while. He's got a new offense that he's installed. We got some new defense that we installed. And you hear a lot of individuals that say that, they want to sit in something base and be able to, have those kids play fast. And we told our kids that we're not going to temper of what we think they can learn. So we've raised that bar and what we've been able to do on the defense and offensive side, and expect them to learn it. So we've got them in the film room, we've got them in the playbook, got them learning. And I think the thing that we preach is that buy-in. And those kids have bought into that. They've adapted to it. They've understand the buy-in and the expectations and what it takes to be successful. It's not just showing up in practice and for those 2.5 hours and going through the motions. It's watching film the night before, getting in the playbook, making sure that you're taking care of your bodies, making sure that you're watching film before you go to bed, putting yourself in the position. I think the greatest thing for a high school kid is if he gets in that playbook and he gets in that film room, that game slows down for him. And anytime you can slow down the game for, a 15, 16-year-old kid, it allows them to play fast, whether they had that speed on the field or not. And so that's something that they've kind of adapted and learned to. Something that's been a little bit different for them this year, but they've done a great job in rising to that occasion.
My broadcast partner, John Becker, has some devious questions that he gave me, and so he gave me one for you. In 3 words, describe the strength of A.J. Harder. I don't know if you're going to do that in 3 words. As I say, devious question.
Yeah, A.J.'s, we've nicknamed A.J. Windchill. If you've seen Friday Night Lights, A.J.'s more internal.
Okay.
Definitely more internal. You don't see a lot of vocal or emotion from AJ. AJ is a very even keel kid, and I think that's something that's great in a quarterback and a safety. Keep that level headed. But you can tell that guys, they adapt, they grow to him, they look up to him. He's an incredibly hard worker. He's incredibly competitive. I think sometimes that old saying is true. You gotta hate to lose more than you love to win. And that's AJ. I mean, you watch him on the basketball court, you watch him take over games in the winter, and you have a competitor like that. So I think if you described him in 3 words, I think it's a winner.
Yeah, I was going to say that's more than 3 words right there. But
he's a winner. He's competitive and drive. He's got incredible drive in everything he does, and I think that's something that you want in a captain and a senior.
I mean, what an incredible – to come into this situation and be able to work with him. And then you got some other talent around him. Tri-Center loses a couple of really good wideouts in Zach Nelson and Cale Witt, so you're going to have to find some new guys there. But Aiden Goldap at running back, a playmaker back there, that got to help the offense run a little bit as well.
Absolutely.
Do you think this offense kind of becomes more run-oriented? Because in the past it was more, maybe pass-oriented a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, Coach Colgett calls the offense. I worry about the defense and kind of let him do his thing. And
he already threw you under the bus, Coach.
Without giving a little too much away, I think we're going to be able to do both. Goldie obviously is a bruiser over tailback. He's a big kid, runs downhill, runs behind his pads. And you got guys like Johnson at tight end, and he did not get that recognition last year. You talked about Cale Witt and Nelson, and you got 2 guys that were 1,000-yard receivers for multiple years. They were talented. They could go get the ball. I'm a firm believer, and I'll state this right now, that I think Johnson is probably one of the top 10 tight ends in the state, regardless of class. That kid has incredible potential, incredible physicality, and he's one of the smartest football players I've been around. And if you've been around that practice, sometimes it's frustrating. You try to explain things and you walk it through, and he's already telling you the answer to the question that you're going to ask. And, as a coach, that gets a little bit difficult because you're sitting there and you're trying to learn, and you're like, God, he knows it. But he's an incredible leader in the way he helps kids out. He's going to be a huge weapon for us. And then we've got a lot of guys who maybe didn't get that recognition last year, but are going to step up. Baker McCarthy is a physical wide receiver, a kid that did not miss the weight room once this winter. And I think that's something that's a huge buy-in. Those kids really bought in the weight room. Ethan Bogey is an extremely fast wide receiver. Kane Doffenbaugh, unfortunately, missed last year due to a knee injury, and he was going to be a huge weapon for him. And he's back. He can flat out fly. He's going to be all over the field for us. So I think we have a lot of weapons that maybe didn't get the recognition last year, but they've been waiting in the wings for their turn, and they're going to have that opportunity to shine coming up here shortly.
Yeah, you kind of stole my next question, because I was going to ask you about Jaden Johnson, because I think 2 years ago he didn't see the ball enough, but there was a lot of guys there on the state championship team, so that's understandable. Last year he got hurt, so he didn't see the ball enough. He's also an impact guy on defense. What do you see from him as a defender? And he could probably be, a leader on that side of the football for you. He could just – because he can make plays, and he could go either D-line or linebacker. Probably what do you see from him on the defensive side?
There's a lot of physicality. We're going to be able to move him all over and use him in a few different ways to kind of adjust our defense based off him. When he's in the middle, he's physical. He makes things bounce. We're able to bring him on some pass scenarios off that edge and really kind of disrupt that pass rush game, being able to shift our D-line over because he can take away that full field. He does an incredible job of reading guards and reading the line of scrimmage, high hat, low hat, and allows him to play fast, and he can move for his size. So I think with his knowledge of the game and his physicality and the way that he approaches each day, I think you're going to see a special you out of him. You talked about staying healthy. I think for those players, one of those issues, staying healthy, is when you're that physical, you want to run into everything. To a bowl, everything looks red. So for him, it's getting us just to slow him down a little bit, making sure that he's understanding his gap, his assignment. But he's done a great job of leading. He's picked up kind of 2 new linebackers that are going to rep for us this year and help take those guys under his wing and kind of match the physicality. And I think that's kind of the thing. They've nicknamed themselves kind of the Bash Bros. They got a little physicality going. Linebackers are a different breed. So whatever it takes for them to be locked into that game and be able to see that red, I think he's going to be that guy that leads that group.
Yeah, a message to Tri-Center players. Don't get hurt. That should really be a message to everybody, but don't get hurt. Too many injuries last year for Tri-Center. I mean, I bet you there were more players in the trainer's room than there were on the football field.
Yeah, 2 years ago they had that special run, and obviously Coonsey was an incredible back, carried the ball 39 times, I think, on average a game, and they had no injuries. Unfortunately, Coach Schroeder that year did get a little banged up in the knee, and so they kind of talk about it as a sacrifice. And last year we joke is that Pudge didn't sacrifice his knee. So last night after the scrimmage, we kind of had a short stick for a draw and see who would kind of be that guy that's willing to go down on staff to keep us healthy, whatever it takes.
How about the line, offensive, D-lines? How do you feel just about your depth there and your talent up front on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's special about what we're going to have this year is that we have anywhere between 10 and 12 coaches on the staff right now to be able to go through. And you get that opportunity at a small school to have that staff. We got 3 coaches that are working with the line, and that's a huge buy-in that we talk to these kids and we talk to these parents and we talk to especially some of these junior high kids that are around the area that are looking at potential schools to go through. We want to be able to bring a coach or 2 at every single position group. We have 3 coaches that work with our O and D line. We have 2 specific linebacker coaches. We have 3 secondary coaches. We have 2 special teams coaches, and we have a kicking coach that works specifically just with kickers. He was a former All-State kicker and Gabe Meese. It comes from a long line of kicking lineage in his family and the shoot axe. So I think the fact that we can be able to space that out and have multiple coaches working with small groups allow us, one, to be advanced in our scheme, advanced in our focus, and be able to really break out in practice and not have to worry and watch every little thing. But when we go specifically to the line, I think the thing that's special about them is those 5, 6, 7 individuals that are going to rotate for us. They were nearly 100% in the winter in the offseason and workouts. And it's not easy to get up at 5 o'clock when you're a 16 and 17-year-old kid and go into the weight room and give everything you had. And those kids did. They bought into the belief, they bought into the culture right away, and they knew that they were going to have to step up. So I think we're excited for what they're going to bring. I think we're excited for the effort that they've had. And it's not easy playing O-line. Everyone knows if something goes wrong, you're the first one that's pointed out and blamed. I think those kids have done a great job of becoming a tight-knit group and buying in, understanding that their focus is we're going to go as far as they take us. It doesn't matter how good your skill is on the back if you can't move the line. It doesn't matter how good your skill is in your back 7 if you can't get pressure or fill the gaps. So I think those individuals need to step up. They need to understand that it's on their shoulders, making sure that they can play for 4 quarters. Most of those kids are going to go both ways. So our conditioning's been hard. The weight room and the program that Ryan put them through this offseason was difficult. But we asked them to raise that bar and raise that standard so that they can have that shoulders on. And I think they've done a great job of matching that and excited to see what they can do on Friday nights.
The district, I think, is up in the air. I mean, I don't know if there's a clear favorite in your district coming into the year. I mean, Trainer, Underwood, you all have pieces coming back, all lose some things. That's going to be interesting how that district sorts out.
Yeah, we might have a difference of opinion. I think there's a.
You think you're the favorite?
No, I think you look at the past. I mean, I think there's no doubt that Underwood and Trainer have kind of been that pinnacle right now. I think Coach McHaleson runs an incredible program. That line is physical. He's really bought into that feed the cats. They're extremely fast. Charlie Myers is a talented back. Their young quarterback, Nash Mitchell, is someone that we're familiar with that family. And that kid's going to be a sophomore, but when you look at him and the football family that he comes from and his ability to read the game and sling the rock, I know that everyone's concerned about that quarterback they lost last year, but I think he's going to fill those shoes nicely. And obviously, Trainer's been kind of that top dog the last few years. Yeah, Underwood made the Dome, but Trainer's been able to win the district. You look at kind of the numbers that they'll have on the sidelines, it's impressive. Coach Casey's built that program up. Both of those teams are going to be tough to beat. And talking with Coach Brummer here a little bit earlier, you heard about Shenandoah, and you know that they're going to be good. They're physical in what they do. They're violent at running back. They're able to move, and they come from a community that's built on toughness. So I think for us, we're taking each game one game at a time. We even talked a little bit about the non-district. Doesn't matter if we go 3-0 or 0-3. The only thing that matters is when we get in that district that we're playing our best ball, we're staying healthy. And at the end of the year, we're just looking for an opportunity to be able to enter those playoffs if we're fortunate enough to make it and have a chance to be playing our best ball late and push the chips in then.
Who do you got in week 1?
St. Albert.
Your alma mater. You're going up against your alma mater. What's that going to be like? First game as a head coach, and you play your alma mater.
Yep. Obviously, that narrative's been out there. It's been asked a lot. And same thing that we've told the kids and that we told the staff. At the end of the day, yeah, that narrative's out there. I wish that community nothing but the best. I wish Donnie nothing but the best. And I think that's going to be a team that you don't see them ranked right now in the Class A preseason polls because I think a lot of that stuff's based off last year and some lack of understanding in that. I think that's a team that you're going to see that's going to play in the Dome. If they can stay healthy, they are going to make an incredible run. But at the end of the day, the only thing I'm concerned about right now is Tri-Center and us and our boys and making sure that we're taking each day one day at a time and we're blocking out that outside noise. Same thing that we tell our kids every single day. You control what you can control. You focus on what you have and your job and the outside noise and block that out in everything that you do day in and day out, and it'll take care of itself.
He's got the coach speak down already, folks. He's already got it down. He wants it to be about the kids on the field. And what are the strengths of St. Albert? What do they bring that you know of that you're going to have to deal with?
Yeah, they have an incredible line. I mean, most of that line started when they were sophomores or freshmen, and now those kids have matured. They've hit their growth spurts. They've added on weight. They're physical. They're obviously coached by an incredible line coach. And then you got incredible skill. And Coach Colgett will laugh back there because I'll butcher these names because I struggle with the names. I'm better with calling out numbers on film. But, you got the Jessen kid who is incredibly fast. He's on the edge. You got the Hamilton kid who's an incredible route runner. They got multiple kids in the Becks that can run the ball. You got a large tight end. Their quarterback's back, and he's 6'4". He can sling it, sees over the line great. And then they got a transfer that came in from TJ and the Keneally kid. He's a physical bruiser, downhill back that's going to be able to play all over for them. So we're going to have our hands full. We got to be able to match their physicality, and we got to be able to rally to the football. Something that we talk about to our defense is that when you're arriving at the ball, you arrive with bad intentions. We're trying to create a violent, fast defense so our kids can play fast, and it's not nice. Defense is not nice. Offense is all sunshine and rainbows out there. They get all their names in the paper, and we talk about it. You're not going to get that recognition on defense. But the best defense that you can have is the one that's not mentioned in the paper just by doing your job.
Coach, really appreciate your time. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and we look forward to following your Trojans all season long. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Jake Gentili, head coach for Tri-Center football, joining us here at the Backfield Bar and Grill. We are rolling on. We got more football to talk about. Tyler Johansson of Riverside, Skip Eckhart of Nottoway Valley. I think I saw Coach Casey come in from Trainer as well. All coming up. We're halfway home here at the Backfield here on KSOM.
Griswold Communications is celebrating 80 years. 80 years of evolving into the reliable fiber telecommunications services we offer today. 80 years of being a member-owned local company with high-quality customer service. Follow Griswold Communications on Facebook to earn chances at giveaways and have some fun along the way. Thank you for your continued support and allowing us to continue investing in our network and community.
The quarterback counts on his O-line for protection in the pocket. In Oakland, you can count on Farm Bureau agent Randy Schroeder to protect your family's blind side no matter what life throws at you. She is there to handle all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. Don't scramble around working with multiple insurance companies. Talk to Farm Bureau agent Randy Schroeder today and see how she can help protect what matters most. Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Property Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
For farm supplies, see Brumley Supplies in Carson. General farm supplies, nuts and bolts, just about everything you need to get whatever is broke on your farm fixed. Need a new hydraulic hose belt? Brumley Supply can do that for you. Maybe you just need a couple of adapters or fittings. They can handle that too. Conveniently located just outside of Carson. Give them a call at 402-680-5471. For all your farm supply needs, Brumley Supplies in Carson.
Cumberland Telephone Company is a full-service telephone company that offers fiber to the homes in the Cumberland area, the towns of Bridgewater and Fontenelle, and southwest Adair County. They offer local and long-distance and internet services. Cumberland Telephone Company strives to constantly provide the best services for their customers. Visit CumberlandTelephone.com or give them a call at 712-774-2221. Cumberland Telephone Company, a proud sponsor of CAM Athletics and the communities we serve.
Supply needs, Brumley Supplies in Carson.
And we are back here at the Backfield Bar and Grill on KSOM, and we're also on YouTube at Western Iowa Today TV. Our broadcast here, high school football preview show brought to you in part by Midwest Heritage, Olson's Fuel Supply, Messina Telephone, Seed Pros, Hummel Insurance, Cumberland Telephone Company, Brumley Supplies, Randy Schroeder, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Griswold Communications, FNB, Lyman Ag, Armor Insurance, Mertz Welding, Marnie Elkhorn Communication, Union State Bank, Conductix, Wampler, and Community Insurance. Let's move on now to the Riverside Bulldogs, a new head coach and AD for Riverside, Tyler Johansson, with us now here on KSOM. And, Coach, glad you could make it up here. Good to see you again. We saw each other during the baseball, softball season, and thanks for the ride in the golf cart to my car. I gotta thank you for that. You played last night. You thumped Red Oak in your opening game. What stood out the most for you in your first game of the year?
Yeah, just our kids and their ability to put it all together. We've been doing all of our install stuff since June, and seeing guys in different spots. There were some things we need to clean up. I was just watching film back there on my phone while I was listening to the other coaches and blocking assignments, things like that, cleaning them up. But it's nice to see it all come together and see the kids compete.
Yeah. You take over for Daryl Frayne. What have you learned from him to keep this team so mentally tough? I think this team has been that way. And what have you learned to try and continue the tradition?
Yeah, Daryl did a lot for me as a coach, and just mentoring me the last several years with allowing me to be an assistant on staff and coaching other sports in the system and kind of working behind the scenes of the head football job and AD and all those things. So I think just the mentality of what it takes to win, the mentality of what it takes to compete, and keeping that going with our kids. Showing up to practice every day, we're competing. Showing up to the weight room, we're competing. So just keeping that mentality of no matter the opponent, no matter what we're trying to do, we're always competing. We're giving full effort, and we're playing fast and doing the things that it takes to win. So Daryl did a great job of that with our football team, but also with our just athletic department as a whole, and helping our kids see that we can compete with some of the best in the state. And you saw that last year with a couple state titles in track and cross country, and those kids play other sports too, and then success breeds success, and winning's contagious. So Daryl definitely did a great job establishing that mentality with our kids, and then getting our coaches to buy into that too. So I'm very thankful for everything he did for me personally as a coach and for us at Riverside.
So you had a quarterback battle during practice. Peyton Amdor was the guy who won. I think when we first talked, you had a bunch of guys that were going to fight it out. Yep. Peyton Amdor was the winner there. What stood out the most for him to win the job?
Yeah, just Peyton's leadership and his ability to command the offense, I think, is kind of what separated him the most. Just understanding of formations and plays and what needs to happen on certain plays. After watching film from last night, there's still some things that we can do a little bit better with formations and making sure that things are aligned the way they need to be aligned. And but yeah, Peyton does a great job. We can call quarterback run plays. He can throw the ball. I think we only threw it like twice or three times or something last night, but one of them was just a dime to Cole Jepson down the field. So we're confident in his ability to do both of those things. And yeah, he's just an ultimate competitor and a great leader for us. So I think that's what kind of
kind of had us thinking that he was going to be our guy going into last night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a number of guys run the football. Like Mason Hauser went over 100 yards. Jepson did something running. He caught a couple of passes, ran a punt return for a touchdown. I mean, he's kind of like your Swiss Army knife, isn't he, Jepson? There. And then Hauser, too, to see more time. I think he played a lot on defense last year, and now he's getting involved in offense and making an impact quick.
Yeah, Cole is a super athletic kid, and our goal is going to be to put him all over the field and make teams defend him. So he's going to be in motion. Sometimes he'll be in motion. He won't get the ball. He'll be in motion, and he will get the ball. We'll put him in the backfield. He'll be running out for pass routes. So I think the more creative that we can get with Cole and the more often we can get the ball in his hands, the better off we'll be offensively. And then he's our return guy, too, for punts. So he had a punt return touchdown last night. Cole will tell you, it was blocked up beautifully. We run kind of a wall punt return, and the wall was set up great, and there was really nobody around him. He just took it and ran to the end zone. So, but yeah, he's our returner. So on kickoffs too, it's him and Mason both deep. So you're kicking to two of our best athletes on the field. But yeah, Cole's a great kid, great leader, stellar athlete, super quick, super fast. And then we have Mason Hauser. Last year, Mason was coming off of an injury, so he didn't get a ton of playing time, mostly on defense. We didn't really utilize him much on offense, but he's worked super hard in the weight room, super hard in other sports to get his body back in shape and to be able to contribute on both sides of the ball for us. So he's a kid that's not afraid of contact. He's also a pretty shifty kid, so he'll make some kids look kind of silly on film if they're not breaking down, moving their feet, and squaring them up. So we're going to expect a lot out of Mason on both sides of the ball, really. We're going to give him the ball a ton on offense, and on defense, he'll be in the box playing linebacker for us. So, but yeah, both great kids, and our goal of our offense is to spread them out and make you defend them. So,
well, I'm sure the most common question that you've gotten is, how do you replace Jackson Gordon? I mean, that's obvious, but I think you've already sort of partially answered it. Hauser, Jepson, and/or others. You don't need one guy to replace one guy. You have a number of different. I mean, that's how good Gordon is. You can use the sum of all parts. Should be able to replace that. Is that how kind of you're looking at it?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we could have spread it out a lot more last year and given the ball to our athletes more last year. We didn't really need to.
Why not?
We had Jackson, right?
Yeah.
We didn't really need to. We had Jackson. We could give it to him 35 times a game, and our offense still goes the way it's supposed to go. So, but yeah, this year, I mean, it'll be our goal to spread it out and get the ball in guys' hands, and I try to replace Jackson by committee, so to speak. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you already showed that in the first game, and so that's a good positive sign, a good positive step forward. How about up front, offense, defensive lines? How do you see some of those big eaters? If they came here, they would have tear up out of those pretzels. How do you feel about some of those big boys there?
Yeah, they played well last night. Blocking assignments, we got to clean some stuff up. Really, our blocking up front really relies on our guards, and we're replacing two guards. So there'll be some things, just reps and getting our running backs on our guards and all the things that we have to work on these next few weeks. But up front, last year we started 2 freshmen and 3 seniors. So the 2 freshmen got a ton of experience last year. One of them's in the same spot. Grant Richardson plays our quick tackle position. So actually we flip our linemen back and forth. Teams kind of pick up on that, and then we can formation stuff a little bit different. But Grant Richardson plays our quick tackle position. That's where he was at last year, so he's pretty comfortable there. Our quick guard position is Max Shano. He was our center last year, so our 2 sophomores are both on our quick side of our offense. And then our center is a freshman, Cass Reekin. It's been a lot of trial by fire since June. We went to Simpson camp, and I told him, I said, you're going to screw up, and I'm going to get after you as a coach, and then you're going to adjust and go on to the next play and figure out how to do it better. So we have a freshman at center, Cass. He's taking it all really well. At our other guard spot, we've got Brandon Perez. He's a junior. This is his first time with actually a lot of reps and playing varsity Friday night football. So he'll have to adjust week to week and just hopefully get better as the season goes. And then at strong tackle, we have Hayden Trumbauer. He's also another junior. He played a lot of defense for us last year, but not any offense. So we've got 2 of our freshmen from last year, our sophomores this year, are returning starters, and then we're working in 3 new guys. But they're all learning, they're all meshing well together, and like I said, once we get our guards rolling, that'll benefit us a ton as the season goes.
Yeah. How about on the defensive side? Who do you expect to lead that side of the football?
Yeah, on the defensive line side, I mean, it's a lot of the same guys. Grant Richardson played super well last night. He's really good at reading what's happening and going on in front of him. A lineman will down block, and he'll get his hands on and squeeze and see what comes at him and then go make a play. Nose guard, we've got Hayden Trumbauer. I tell him all the time, like, your job is to not be making tackles at nose guard. Your job is to take on double teams, occupy linemen, and then go let our linebackers make tackles and make plays. So Hayden's bought into that. He does well there. And then our other defensive end spot is Lucas Manzer. He's a senior. He hasn't had a ton of varsity Friday night playing time, but he's doing super well. He's a kid that he'll get after it, and he'll try to cause chaos where he can cause chaos. So working some new guys in on the defensive side of the ball, and Grant didn't play defense last year. He just played offense for us. So a couple new DNs, trying to get them reps and experience, and then getting better as the season goes.
Yeah. How do you maximize the use of speed? I mean, Riverside has got a good tradition of track athletes, of course, cross country too, state champs there, state champs in track. But how do you try to best utilize? This is from my partner John Becker. How do you best utilize your speed to maximize that and get the most out of that?
Yeah, and it's going to be our goal to get our quick, athletic, fast guys in space the best we can. We do a lot of motions, a lot of shifts, a lot of like jet sweep type stuff. So you'll see Cole lined up in the slot a lot, and like I said before, we'll motion him across, and we'll give him the ball and try to get him to the edge, or we'll motion him across and just use him as a decoy, and then we'll run it back the other way and try to get to the edge. So I think a lot of it is just our scheme and seeing what defenses are given to us, and just kind of moving guys around and adjusting series to series, play to play, and try to get those guys in space. I would love to be able to throw the ball some more, 3 times last night or 2 times or whatever we did last night. I mean, we didn't really have to throw the ball last night, but getting those guys on the edge, getting Amdor rolling out or whatever it is to get those guys the ball in space, I think that'll help us a ton.
Well, it's a nice problem to have. I mean, if you don't need to throw the ball, if you're just gaining it on the ground, then why throw it,
Yeah.
But, you want to see how you're going to have to throw it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that will come together when you need it. I mean, this football team, they've had some success in the regular season. They just have not been able to get over the hump in the playoffs. Is that something that you feel like is a motivating factor that these guys? I mean, everybody's going to say you lost Gordon, you lost this, you lost this. You might be a little bit under the radar. I think the district is wide open this year. I think there are going to be some other teams that are be improved. I think there's going to be some other teams that might fall a little bit. But, I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see. But what do you see as kind of a motivating factor for your boys this year?
Yeah, 2 years ago, I think about the playoffs and our first round playoff game, Linville-Sully, when we hosted that game at home, like the environment was incredible. And
I was there.
Yeah, our kids remember that, so being able to play football in that environment, like that's memories that kids hold on to for the rest of their lives. When you ask our senior class from that year, like, what's your favorite football memory? They're always talking about that game, so I think our current seniors, they were on that team and they experienced that, and that's a motivating factor for them to get back to that environment and play football, high-level football in that environment. And then we went on the road to Tri-Center that same year, the next week, and things didn't go so well.
No, they were just on a roll.
Yeah, they definitely were, and then they went on to win the state title. So going back to last year, the first-round playoff game, looking back and watching film, I didn't even watch the film until probably springtime when I was starting to figure out things for our offense and football this year, just because that was a game that we probably should have won, and our kids know that, our coaching staff knows that if we would have just stuck to what we did and had the confidence that the stuff that we did was going to work against BGM, I think we would have been okay in that game and we might have advanced farther in the playoffs. But our kids aren't necessarily kids that dwell on things, they use it as motivation, but our kids recognize that this is a new team, new season, and the goals that this team comes up with have zero anything to do with the last couple years in the playoffs. So it's a new team, new identity, new goals. But yeah, a motivation to get to the playoffs, host that first round playoff game. And when you get to that spot, you're typically set up pretty well for the rest of the playoffs. So our kids want that, and our kids want to be in that environment again.
Yeah. talked to the Linville Sully coach, and he still thinks his guy got into the end zone that play. Sorry, Mike, Mike Parkinson, who I know well. So who do you got in your Week 1 game?
Week 1's Trainer.
Trainer. Ooh, I hope that's why Casey is got his hand taking down notes.
There,
he's got his head buried in his notebook. He's taking notes. What do you think about with the coach staying right there? You got to play him. What do you think about facing off with Trainer?
Yeah, Trainer's a great opponent. They're going to be big and physical and athletic. So they're going to hopefully, I might be giving away what I think our game plan is, but they're going to put guys in the box, and we're going to try to run it at the box with a lot of guys in the box, and we'll have to make adjustments based on what we're seeing. So, but yeah, super physical team. They'll be a lot bigger than us. I know that. We've never been incredibly blessed with ginormous kids or nothing like that, but we have kids that'll get after it. And but yeah, I respect Coach Casey a ton and what he does with his program. So we're ready to strap it up and see what happens Friday.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we wish you nothing but the best of luck, throughout the season. Congrats on getting the new job, and looking forward to following you. We'll be coming to your place. What was it? The ACGC, I think. Well, that's the last game of the season.
Yeah, week 8.
Yeah, we were there for that one, but they were on there September 11th. I forget who your opponent is.
That'd be AHSTW.
Yeah, so we'll be there for that too. So we'll be going to Oakland twice.
Cool. Sounds great.
Yeah, so we're excited about that, and really appreciate it. And we'll see you throughout the season. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate the coverage.
Tyler Johansson, head coach for Riverside football, joining us here. Up next, Skip Eckhart for Nottoway Valley as our high school football preview show rolls on from the backfield here on KSOM.
What's it mean to be in good hands? It means you get an expert agent who's in it for the long haul. We'll get to know you and be there for you as your coverage needs change. I'm Craig Hummel at Hummel Insurance Services, and we work with Allstate Insurance. Let us help you choose the right amount of protection to meet your needs and see for yourself what it means to be in good hands. Call Hummel Insurance Services or stop in anytime.
A lot has happened over the past 100 years.
One thing hasn't and never will change.
Our commitment to you.
We are proud to be the one you count on when every bushel counts.
Thank you for believing in our products in your fields over the years and years to come.
Thank you for trusting us.
The Seed Pros, Nick Knutson, Colton Becker, and John Becker, with you for the word go.
Messina Telephone Company understands that your internet connection should be available when you need it. Some internet providers cut corners by limiting your bandwidth during peak hours. Messina Telephone policy is to have bandwidth in reserve to prevent network congestion. Gaming and streaming video just works better with Messina Telephone's fast, reliable internet service. Call 712-779-2227 or messinatelephone.com. Messina Telephone Company is a proud supporter of CAM Athletics.
Harvest is just around the corner, and now is the time to contract your propane for the 2026-27 heating season. Whether you heat your home, farm, shop, livestock, buildings, or business, Olson 2-243-2340 or stop by 112 Commerce in Atlantic to get your propane taken care of. Olson Fuel Supply, the keep you going company.
And personalized services. The courteous, helpful employees are there to help you with your every need. Union State Bank is an equal opportunity and housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
Southwest Iowa's sports leader is 96.5 FM, KSOM.
And we're back at the Backfield Bar and Grill in Walnut here on KSOM. It's our high school football preview show. Let's go down to Greenfield. And Skip Eckhart, head coach for Nottoway Valley, with us here. And Coach, you said it as we walked up here, 46 years coaching football. Do you think you'd last that long?
Not really. I kind of went to UNI, and I didn't think I was going to get into this profession, but I got to enjoy working with young men and young ladies and coaching, and so you coach about everything, and it just, if I still didn't enjoy it or could change with the times, I'd be out of it, but I still enjoy it and have a great time at it.
So where have you coached? Is that going to take us another hour or so?
Well, I can't remember all, but last couple of years in Shenandoah. Before that, ADM. Before that, my high school. I was there 4 different times. First year out of college, and then they reduced staff. So then I went to Schleswig, which we had a great
5 years there. And then I went back to Cresco when they had lost 40-some games in a row.
Oh, geez.
And then we won like our third game the first year and thought like we won the Super Bowl. Stormed the field and everything else. And then our second year, 5-4. And then our third year, district champion and first ever playoff appearance. And just been gracious. We've never really taken over a great team, but you wouldn't get hired if there was a great team. You know what I mean? So been building and trying to fix stuff, and it's enjoyable, because Shan's going to have a pretty good club this year because they got some good coaches in there and good young men. And then now Nottoway Valley, one win in 4 years, and trying to get after this. This is probably the last one, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, were you thinking you were going to retire after Shenandoah?
To be honest, the biggest reason was that's just kind of ahead of what's crazy is the AD. I taught her in elementary school and principal, and kind of
Sarah Honnold,
yeah, and wanted to get closer to Des Moines because I got grandkids that play a lot of ball down there, and just happened. And it was sad going from Shan because we build them up to be ready to roll, and they got great kids there and great coaches and just a great place. But just it is what it is, and here we go.
So you've turned programs around. What turned things around at Crestwood? Did you kind of use the same things here at Nottoway Valley, or is it completely different?
It's the weight room. I was probably ahead of my time in the weight room in the 80s, but I know what it did for me to be able to play at UNI, an average dude that busted your butt if you put in the time. It's like we never have the biggest or those guys, but we did have some speed at 8 Flora and Dahl, both of them are Division I players now. That's probably the fastest dude since Tim DeWhite, It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But lifting, being very disciplined, more or less the guys here, we got to teach them how to dress before. Just simple stuff like that. They don't know different things like that, And we have competitions where there's 3 circles, and when we first started it, they'd give up on 3. But if you're in the third competition, you can still work back to 1. And they've been very coachable, and we had probably 95% in the weight room. And when we started, I moved from Shan the 31st of May, and we started on June 1st.
Wow.
Lifting and that, but the kids have been receptive. They're coachable. We got to step on some toes sometimes. If this is the line, you got to be behind the line. But they've been receptive, coachable, and it'll be an interesting year because we're probably homecoming games for everybody. Nobody's going to respect us.
I saw that Aiden Flora was named a captain for Iowa State. That's a pretty good deal. Of course, he's not very many guys returning for that. But is that something that can impress some of the players? You tell them, it's like, hey, I got a chance to coach Aiden Flora, and this is what I did for him. This is what I could do for you.
Brevin Dahl came and spoke to our guys, and Flora would have been able to, but he was busy at the time. But we had a golf tournament, and they give a bunch of Iowa State things to help us out down there. And they're good people. Both those guys are awesome young men, good families, and there you go. Yeah. I didn't do a lot for those 2 guys. They had that natural ability, but just good people, work hard, get that work hard ethic into them. Like I said, we're not the biggest, we're not the fastest. We just got to have all 11 come together.
Yeah, I think you might have been at ADM when I came and broadcast a Grinnell game in the playoffs against ADM, and the ADM kind of thumped Grinnell a little bit. I think that might have been the last game I did for Grinnell High School. But
I can't. We were there 3 years.
Yeah,
and like I said,
I know Dahl was on that team.
Yeah, Flora.
I don't know if Flora was there, but I know Dahl was for sure. Flora might have been there too.
Flora was a quarterback.
Yeah.
My first year was a big young man there, the superintendent's son that ran the ball. He's up at Wartburg now, and then Flora took over, and just special. Those 2 are special. You don't see them like 46 years. Those 2 are really special.
So, at Nottoway Valley, you have to get these guys to understand, to believe that they can win. I don't know if they were just going through the motions in the past or there was no confidence. I talked to Trent Warner, and you talk to him. It's like it's incredible that he's at Northwest Missouri State playing football, but he never had a chance to win a game pretty much in his high school career. What can you do to change the things between the ears before you even? You have to work on that before you even get on the field.
A lot of it's our tempo, how we go about things. You got to get that "here we go again" attitude. Just because you get scored on, you can come back and get after it. So it's just trial and error and working hard and not letting them let down.
Yeah.
No head hanging. If somebody asks you how you're doing, we want to hear great, fantastic, none of this good. You're not average. We got to have that mentality that wash all the stuff away, and here we go. Win each day. Win each day. Did we win today in practice? Did we win today in the weight room? That's our goal. Don't let one become two. Don't let one mistake become two to three. That's how you blow up and the game goes down the river.
Has anything caught you by surprise since you took over from the kids?
They're believing in our system, believing in the role, and like I said, 95% weight room and practice stuff was pretty darn good.
Yeah,
for having a team that's been getting whooped a lot.
Well, it helps that you have a guy to build around in Titan Foster. What do you like about this kid?
He's really taken over. At first, they all had to learn things, but he's been a good leader now, getting everybody set on the offense, and really great surprise the way he's taken his leadership role in that side of the ball.
So that is a surprise. I assume he's going to stay at the quarterback spot for you. What makes him an effective, like it was last year, about 700 yards passing, 137 yards rushing? I don't know if we could, use stats last year as a judging point, because I think they're going to be a lot better this year. I think you're going to make him a lot better. But what do you like about his skill set at quarterback and what he brings?
Just tough competitor. He goes out for every sport, so he's always competing, and he competes about everything. So that's the thing you like, the competitor. I think he'll have that extra drive to get these guys kicked in the butt if somebody's down in the dumps in the huddle. Take command and run the show.
Yeah. Who are some other skill guys that you're looking at to help them out there in offense?
Well, we got Caleb Christensen, big old fella. He'll be the quarterback on defense, and he'll be a running back for us on offense. You got Cassius Burnside, who can run. He's getting better all the time. And then, like I said, we have 11 total juniors and seniors, so we're going to be young. 3 seniors in the O-line and 2 sophomores. So, that I coach O-line and D-line, and so, you go as far as the O-line takes you. But like I said, Coach Burnside and Christensen are pretty good offensive players. Austin Walker, receiver, but in general, and Bramdahl, tight end. So we'll see what happens. We just got to block people.
Yeah. So who are some of the guys that you're going to looking to up front there on the O-line?
Well, the quarterback of the O-line is probably going to be Derek Roush. He's a center. He's a senior. And then on each side of him, Jared Kissel and Lawson Jackson, 2 seniors. So the inside are the old boys, and the Quentin Schultz on the tackle outside, and then Clay, Derek's brother, is on the other tackle. So got a couple pups, and then after that it's babies.
Babies.
The little freshman boys, the amoebas of football. They're just starting out, but very coachable. That's part of the key. If they just were always fighting against it, and then we'd have trouble.
Right. Well, that's a good sign.
Yes, it is.
And in Christensen last year, last year he just took a step forward, I think, overall as an athlete, especially in wrestling, because he became, he was an undefeated guy until he ran into a really good one at the state tournament. In the times that I talked to him, very kind of low key kind of guy, but I don't know how he is on the football field. But he had 65.5 tackles for you a year ago. What do you see from him as a defensive player? And, as you say, your quarterback of your defense, that's a guy that you can rely on there too.
Right. Like you said, he's really quiet, but he got up and talked the other day, and they're going to listen. He's leads by example. You don't always have to be a chatter guy, but if you're always kicking butts, they're going to learn. And then if he comes up and says something to you, you're going to take it for what it's worth. And a lot of kids look up to him, because, like you said, runner-up in state in wrestling. We got a bunch of wrestlers, which is good, goes hand in hand. They've been good in wrestling.
Yeah.
So we just got to move that on to the next level, Let's get good in everything. Girls volleyball, every sport. Let's get good.
Yeah. That's a great. I think Sarah is doing an amazing job. She's bringing in coaches, new coaches. There've been a lot of new coaches come in at Nottoway Valley, and they've been good in some sports, but they're trying to, get good in all of them. And to bring you in at football, I think, is a testimony to you and the relationship that you had there.
Yeah, and she got 2 old boys. I got Coach Schrader to talked into coming down. He's 70. We've been godfather for his son. We've known each other for 40-plus years and been coaching. Talked him into coming in. They were in St. Joe, but he's got a condo in Waukee, so he comes down and he'll run the offense. And then we got 2 babies, young pups, the first-year guy, Jake Esslinger, and then Kaylor Clark. He's 24, and then our other assistant will be our principal, Coach Doty. So you got the 2 antique boys, but I told the young guys we should charge them tuition. I was just kidding with them. You gotta have a little fun.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you I mean, you've been coaching for 46 years. Have you seen very many changes in football players? Have you? I mean, what's been the biggest change, do you think, if any?
Well, you got to change with the time. You can't do the same stuff you did in 1981, A lot of people, when we played, we got run. And it's like, if I'm running them all the time, I'm not teaching them football. So we kind of got rid of that, and a lot of that full pad stuff. Crappy football players are on the ground, and that's where most injuries. So we don't go full pads a lot. We're kind of in the shells. We say the girdles because everything's covered up in the upper bath to keep going, and then a tempo. It's just a lot of people say they're changing offenses, but not really. They're just spreading them out. It's like Florida and that when Urban Meyer's wing T football. He just spread them out in guards, but it's
the secret is always running the football, no matter what. You could put them on any which way on the field. The secret in Iowa is always the team that runs the football seems to have the most success.
Well, the times I've thrown the ball the most, I've lost. So, but we can a lot of play action. The RPO is play action, in my opinion, from the old school. Same thing. It's just different things, and you got to adapt and change. And motivation with kids now is different. They don't watch football, a lot of them. They don't play like Madden and the college games. It's shooting zombies or whatever on their phones. So you got to get that, draw it into them. Let's watch a little ball, watch your play, and watch your huddle, learn what, and you can't. We'd sit in there, like in college, and watch film for 2-3 hours. You ain't going to get that done with these kids nowadays. You're going to try to get, when you have a meeting, 15, 20 plays, and bring them in, film your practice, bring them in for 15 minutes, because they're not going to stay with it. So that's a big change probably.
Yeah.
You got to get them in, get them out in practice. These 2-3 hour practice, long ain't in there. Try to get them in and out in 90. And I think if you're organized, it'll work. Get snappy and let's go.
Yeah. So who do you have in your opener?
West Central up there in Stewart.
Okay. Yeah, they lost last night to Mount Air, I think it was 48-6, something like that. What do you know about West Central Valley that you're going to have to deal with?
Well, they're well coached and they got thumped last night, but that means nothing. I don't compare scores because stuff can happen, But they'll be good. They kind of like to throw it around a little bit last year. I'll have to check over the film today and see what they do, but I'm sure they'll be good. And like I said, nobody's worried about us. It's kind of like how many scores we're going to have tonight against them, how many yards they're going to rush in. And so hopefully get our kids ready to come in there and smack them in the mouth a little bit and show them that we know how to play ball.
That's going to be the key, and you're right. Everybody's going to look at what Nottoway Valley has done in the past, and time to start saying, hey, we're here now.
Well, it's just like yesterday going to get some donuts for the custodians, and somebody, it's going to be a tough year. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We'll be all right. But that's the home mindset of the town even. So we got to get going.
Yeah.
We can't start out slow because that here we go again attitude. Hopefully we got a lot of it gone, but you never know until they start putting scores on the board. We had a good scrimmage last night, and we huddled, and we were getting the playoff in 15 seconds. So tempo was pretty good for huddling.
That's good. You brought donuts to the custodians?
You got to take care of them. The cooks and the secretarial staff doing everything about the school. So if you want to find out anything, and if you want your stuff done right away, you
take care of the custodians.
You betcha. And I was one. That's probably I was head football coach and head night custodian when I was at North Tama. Probably the only custodian to take a team to the playoffs in the history of football.
Custodian and football coach and Trayer. That's that one. Oh my gosh!
I could write a book, but I don't think anybody would believe it.
I would buy that book. Well, Coach, really appreciate your time. We look forward to following your Wolverines throughout the season. And best of luck, and thanks a lot for coming out here today.
Well, appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, Skip Eckhart, head coach for Nottoway Valley Football, joining us here. We're at the Backfield Bar and Grill. We got one more coach to come here at the Backfield, but we got plenty more coaches to come after this. So we still got a lot of football to talk about here on KSOM, but we'll talk with Jeff Casey for trainer, and that's after this here on KSOM.
Your home is more than just a place to live. It's also a tool to help you reach your financial goals. Whether you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your mortgage, or using your home's equity for renovations, debt consolidation, or other major expenses, Midwest Heritage has solutions designed for you. Talk with our local lending team today or visit www.midwestheritage.com to learn more. Midwest Heritage, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan.
Oh, come on, ref!
That's simple human sense.
Call Community Insurance in Audubon today at 712-563-4422 or stop by at 422 Tracy Street in Audubon. Join the team at Conductix Wampler. They are currently looking for a night shift supervisor Monday through Thursday. They offer competitive wages and an excellent benefits package in a work environment that truly values its employees. If you're looking for a company that cares about your growth and success, apply today. Learn more and apply online at conductix.us or apply in person at 1605 Industrial Parkway, Harlan. Conductix Wampler are proud to be an equal opportunity employer and strongly encourage military veterans to apply.
Union State Bank is a full-service bank established in 1890. We are a family-owned independent bank serving individuals, businesses, and farmers. With locations in Greenfield, Bridgewater, Corning, and Adair, Union State Bank offers competitive and personalized services. The courteous, helpful employees are there to help you with your every need. Union State Bank is an equal opportunity and housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
Proven products. And remember, at Lyman Ag Supply, their goal is your profitability. Call Lee, 712-249-4988.
Southwest Iowa's sports leader is 96.5 FM. KSOM.
And we're back here at the Backfield Bar and Grill in Walnut. And I'm telling you, if you haven't been here, you need to come and check it out. It's a great place to watch a game. They got, even in this back, they have 3 different rooms. They got one with the bar up front. They got one with a couple of pool tables, and then we're in the back room of the backfield. And it's a great room. They got some pinballs and darts and TVs all over the place. I'm sure on a NFL Sunday, this place is a great place to watch the game. And I haven't had a chance to partake in any food, but I was told what the broasted chicken is to die for. So I don't know. What Coach Casey? What did you partake in?
I just had an appetizer, just to tide me over here.
Okay, yeah. Appetizer. Yeah. Okay. Well, Jeff Casey, head coach for Trainer, joins us here at the Backfield Bar and Grill, and thanks a lot for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so your team 9-2. You're gonna reload a few spots at the quarterback spot, some of the skill spots. But I mean, I was looking at your roster, some of your returners. You got some, defensive guys coming back, so that's got to be good. I mean, how are you feeling overall? I assume you had a scrimmage last night.
We did. We had a scrimmage against Earlham last night. We scrimmaged them the last couple of years, and it's a good opportunity for us to get reps for all our kids. We try to get every kid on our roster out there for some significant snaps and get them on film. And so we've been kind of digging through that this morning already and prepping for next week. But, yeah, we got a good core of kids coming back. And, a year ago when we talked, I think one of the things we probably talked about was we had some inexperience on the offensive and defensive line. last year, and now it's a little bit of the opposite coming into this year. All those guys are back, so it's a good thing. I think anytime you have a bunch of returning guys up front, that's a good place to start.
Now remember that Tyler Johansson is right now listening in his car as he's driving back to Oakland, so he's taking mental notes. Don't drive off the road, Coach. Remember, don't text and drive. So quarterback, Ethan Hill did a great job for you last year. How do you see the position this year?
Yeah, well, we've got a couple guys we've been mixing in there and trying some different things, and Ethan had a great year. I think the thing that was probably the best from him last year was he was just super efficient with the football. He took care of the football, and he was really good about distributing it around, and we had a ton of really good skill kids last year, a lot of fast athletic kids at receiver and in the backfield, and he was just really good at quickly getting the ball out of his hands and really being the point guard of the offense and distributing the ball. So trying to find a kid that, number one, can do that, number two, can take care of the football, and then three, make some plays on his own. So we're still mixing and matching some things and trying some guys out and looking at different personnel groupings.
Okay, so you didn't say one guy, so you don't have one guy yet. Who are the contenders?
Yeah, we've tinkered around with the senior Riley Laver, played some there last night. We got some younger kids. Creighton Dirks is a junior, and he took a few snaps last year for us on the varsity level, played a lot of JV, and then, like I said, we got a freshman and sophomore, both pretty good quarterbacks as well that got time, a lot of time last night. So good snaps from everybody.
So what are you looking for one of these kids to take over?
So my biggest thing is just from a leadership and ball security issue. We were really good in the turnover department last year. We were good the year before that in turnovers. And so we want to take care of the football. But again, kind of like what we've got in the last few years is distributing the ball to the playmakers and whoever can do that. Now, when you can combine an athletic quarterback that can run the football, that's always really difficult to defend. I know just from experience playing those athletic quarterbacks, it's tough on a defense. So which one of those kids can be a leader, take care of the football, distribute it, but make some plays?
How about a tailback? You had Jet Sorensen, which is like the greatest name for a track athlete of all time.
Yeah.
Jet.
Yeah.
I didn't think his name was Jet. And in a track article, I said Jeff Sorensen. Thought it was a misprint. And I got a text or an email from, I think, maybe his parents or somebody. It's Jet, not Jeff. So that's a great name for a track athlete.
Yeah.
But he's also a good name for a running back. But he's no longer there.
That's probably why I wasn't good at track, because my name's Jeff and not Jet. So that explains some things.
That's right. So who do you have at running back this year?
Yeah, Bryce McIntosh is a senior, and he was our short yardage guy last year. He's a big, powerful, tough runner between the tackles, and I really like what he's done in the offseason. He has gotten faster. He's always been a fast kid, but I think just being in the position he was in and seeing what Jet was able to do the last couple of years. Drew Myers was our number 2 tailback last year. Both really fast speed guys and good in space. And so Bryce has really worked hard to get himself in a position. He's not going to be the same running back as those guys. Nobody is. But just kind of be the regular guy, the every down guy that we can put back there. Finn Miska. Finn was a running back as a freshman. I moved him out to receiver last year. I moved him back to running back. And I'm really excited. We were kind of jokingly last night calling them Thunder and Lightning. And, if you remember the old USC days, Lendale White and Reggie Bush was kind of the mix that we had with those two guys. So we're excited about that. Dylan Dreyer is a senior, got quite a few carries last year. He's coming back from a pretty serious health situation. And so we're working him back into game shape. But there's some kids there we feel really, really good about and excited for.
Some other combinations that come to my mind, Thunder and Lightning you bring up. Then you go a little bit further back to the Pony Express at SMU. And then if you go way back, way back, Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside, I think at Army, it was Glenn Davis and Doc Blanchard.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with myself that I came up with that. So there you go. You got your own combination there, trainer on the way. Well, a receiver, Brock Casey. I saw him during, I think it was baseball season. I saw him 36 catches, about 400 yards last year. I bet that's nice to have him there at receiver to lead the way?
It's a steady presence out at the skill position because that's where we lost the most is at the receiver spot. Just, again, those athletic kids and played a ton for us. But Brock he's going to be a 2-year starter. He was basically a starter as a sophomore. I think he had 20 catches his sophomore year. But he also played as a freshman at the varsity level. So big-bodied kid. He's 6'2", about 185, 190, big wingspan, big hands. He's back-to-back state champ, part of the shuttle hurdle team that we've had up at state track that have won it. So he can run and jump. And so just kind of having that out there, I think the thing that I've been pleased with him is he loves football. It's his favorite thing. He's very passionate about it, but he's worked really hard kind of behind the scenes on his own to get better. And so he studies the game, and the improvement he's had just in his route running and understanding situational football has come a long way over the years. And so we're going to depend on him from a skill standpoint.
Is that your son?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably
you answered the question without even giving that away.
Go. Yeah, I'm probably a little extra hard on him, like I was my older one, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I was looking at, you mentioned defensive linemen coming back. I mean, Will Sater, 40 tackles, 17 tackles for a loss last year. McIntosh, 63.5 tackles, 15 tackles for a loss. Austin Moss, 52 tackles at linebacker last year. That's a great starting point. That's a lot. Everybody in the state would love to have a trio of guys that come back that put up numbers last year as juniors.
Yeah, and Will was a sophomore last year. He'll only be a junior
he's
this
only
year.
a junior this year.
And so Will actually played the most snaps on our team last year as a sophomore. Led the team with snaps, and so he's had a great offseason. He's worked really hard this summer. Had some success at our team camp that we went to back in July. We've had a nice little run of defensive ends. So 2 years ago we had Zach Robbins, who was an all-state DN. He's now playing up at Morningside. And then last year, Dane Gutah stepped into that role as a first-year starter as a senior. He made the all-state team. Will was, in my opinion, he's an all-state caliber kid. And so now he's going to kind of be the featured guy on that defensive end spot. So we've had a nice run there, and our D-line's been pretty solid the last few years. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, and then Bryce, we talked a little bit about him, but how about him as a defender, and then Austin as well, a linebacker?
Yeah, it's a good combination. 2-year starters for those guys. They're kind of like Brock. They basically were starters as sophomores too at linebacker, and so Bryce is a tough, hard-nosed kid, runs well, has a nose for the football. He's the kid that, if there's a brick wall, he's running through it, and you want those kids playing linebacker. And Austin Moss is very similar, but he's maybe a little more subdued, I guess, and you don't maybe expect that from him. And then all of a sudden, when the ball snapped, you see it. And he's really the leader of the defense and makes all our calls at the mic position, and just that kind of that calming presence for our defense.
Yeah. Who else is standing out? Maybe on the O-line, D-line, maybe some guys that either go both ways or one ways.
Yeah. Well, we've got 4 of our 5 starting linemen back from last year. So Maverick Kalb will be a 3-year starter for us at guard.
A good thrower in the spring.
And great wrestling. I think he got 6th in state wrestling last year, and so building off that success and his experience, and he'll be our starting nose as well. It's actually so he is about 5'9", 5'10", weighs about 285, and then our first sub that comes in at nose is 6'3", 320. And then the third string kid is 6 foot 300, and then the fourth string kid is 6'3", 290. So,
and what are you feeding those kids?
I don't know,
trainer?
but we've had years where we haven't had it, but there's some size right now, and so it's a nice thing to have, obviously, and we can rotate those kids, and they all play the offensive line, of course, and so just trying to platoon them as much as we can, and I feel really good. I think we've got 7 kids on the offensive line I feel really, really good about that we can rotate in. I've got 4 guys that we can mix and match at center and the 2 guard spots, and then we've got 3 tackles right now that we're going to play, and there's a couple of other ones that I think could get into that mix and get us up to 9 or 10. We need to see some more out of them, but they're getting there.
I think the grocery bills and trainer are a little bit high.
It's high. Yeah.
That's a good problem to have and everything like that. Just from a mentality standpoint, what do you see as helping to motivate this team in going into this year? Is it success in the postseason? Is it just trying to maintain the level of excellence that you've had at trainer? Well, I mean, every team is different, of course, but what have you noticed that maybe the kids are focused in on to try and get them going?
Yeah, so I grew up in Trainer, and so I grew up just kind of understanding and seeing highly successful football. I wasn't there when Ken Winkler was coaching in the late 70s, but the bar was pretty high then. It was high before him. Randy Donahue coming in the late 80s and 90s when I was growing up and seeing that brand of football, and then Steve Owens for 20 years and a couple state championships in there. So a lot of us, it's just that's kind of the expectation, is that there's a high level of success. And as coaches, we try to instill that into the kids without like preaching too much about the past, because a lot of that stuff was before them. But we want them to understand the expectations. So that's one thing. The other thing that I know these kids have on their mind right now is there's a bad taste from that quarterfinal loss last year. Now, South Hardin was a really, really good team, and they deserve to be in the Dome, but we were right there with them. We had our opportunities, and we let it slip. We had, through the first 10 games, had 6 turnovers total, and in that game we had 5. And so that's going to get you at that point in the season. So I think you were talking about with one of the other coaches earlier, in the state of Iowa, if you want to get to the Dome, you want to make a run in the playoffs, you got to run the football, you got to stop the run, and you got to take care of the football. And we didn't do any of those things real well in the quarterfinal game.
Yeah. In this district, again, I think it's, I think the 3 teams there that are probably going to be the favorites are going to be you, Tri-Center, and Underwood. Of course, Jake Gentile, he says that it's going to be you and Underwood, but I think, respectfully to Jake, his team is going to be in that mix too.
Yeah.
I mean, it could end up where all 3 of you beat each other, and it could be a tie. Who
100%.
knows? But all 3 teams, I think, are pretty even coming in.
They have a lot of really good, talented kids coming back. They've got some senior kids and even some other ones that are really talented. I know Underwood is going to be good every year regardless. I mean, you're replacing, Garrett Ludd at quarterback at Underwood, who I think was All-State 3 years in a row, and was this otherworldly athlete. But they're just going to reload kids in like they always do, and they have so many good pieces around them up front and at the skill spots, and their defense is always good. And they are always an opportunistic team. They take advantage of turnovers and special teams. So, but we open up with Shenandoah in our district play, and I don't think anybody can overlook Shenandoah.
They're the dark horse.
They are. They've got some kids. They've just kind of been knocking on the door here and getting better every year, and so they're going to be a handful for everybody.
Drew Buckholt, now the coach down there. Yep. Of course, he was the coach at Exira HK. They're not playing football this year, so I'm glad he found another gig. And didn't get shut out this fall. Some shuffling around.
Yeah.
Jack West went from Nottoway Valley to Logan Magnolia, and Skip Eckar went from Shenandoah to Nottoway Valley, and Drew Buckholt went from Exira to
and you got Jake Driver at Missouri Valley that we play them week 8, and so my expectation is, you're talking about a team that hasn't really won a whole lot lately, but they've always had really big kids, number one, but they've had some talent there too, and I think Coach Driver is going to do a really good job of putting things together. He knows how to win, obviously, and by the time we see him week 8, you're going to see a different team than what I think people are going to see right now at this point in the year, and they're going to be a handful too when we get to them.
And you got a tough one to start off with. You just heard from Tyler Johansson. You took devious notes, I'm sure.
I did.
In-depth notes. What do you think about playing Riverside?
Yeah, a couple years ago, Coach Frayne, when he was coaching, he and I talked, and we said, number one, it's silly that Trainer and Riverside don't play in football. We hadn't played in like 20 years, and as close as the communities are, it just makes sense, number one. But number two, we're always looking to get good quality opponents on our non-district schedule, and so they were one of the first ones that came to mind. They're very well coached, and I know Coach Johansson's doing the same thing. But they're very detailed in what they do. And so you can go into the Riverside game and for the most part, what they want to do and how they want to run the football and things, but then stopping it is a whole different thing because they're so good at it. And so we have to be very sound in our assignments and our reads and all the different things that we need to do to be successful, because if you're not, that's a team that they can get you. I mean, I know they had a really talented running back last year, but they got a lot of really good kids on their football team. Like I said, they're well coached and they're so detail oriented that they're going to be a tough matchup for us.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting season.
Yep.
It's going to be a fun season.
Yep.
And we look forward to checking in with you each and every week. I know that we're planning on going to Neola and broadcasting your game with Tri-Center.
You're not going to drive over to Pella and watch us play that 3-hour road trip?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No. When I was in Grinnell, we didn't like going to Pella. There's no straight road to Pella.
No.
But there's not a one. So we're not going to do any curves. We're not going all the way to
That's
do Pella
fair.
Christian. But
That's fair.
I don't even know how good they're going to be this year. They usually are tough each and every year. And last year they were, they play such a hard schedule.
They do.
They do. That they were still a playoff team, a borderline playoff team.
Yep.
And they were 500. So
right. And then they ended up getting a big round one playoff win last year as a 4 seed. They have like 90 kids on their roster. They're going to be a problem for us. They have a running back, the Kakmarinsky kid, that
what a
probably
name.
going to be one of the better running backs in the state. That'll be after we have to play the Van Meter kid the week before that, the Williams kid, who might be the best one. So
they have Kakmarinskys growing on trees in Pella.
They do,
and they all go to Pella Christian. They don't go to Pella High.
No.
They go to the
Yep.
Christian.
Yep.
And Pella Christian is one of those schools. They play in the Little Hawkeye. I was familiar with them when I covered Grinnell. And, they would always play a tough schedule, but they were always the lower class. And so they'd get in whatever sport they get into, so that's amazing.
Coach Cat gave me my first coaching job 30 years ago.
Really?
So he and I go way back, and I learned a ton from him. And so I got a ton of respect for the guy and that program.
Yeah.
Yep.
Coach, thanks a lot for stopping by here
Thank
at the
you.
Backfield Bar and Grill. And we look forward to following your Cardinals throughout the season. Thanks
Appreciate
so much.
it. Thanks.
Jeff Casey, head coach for Trainer, joining us here. And that's going to conclude our live broadcast on YouTube. But we're going to continue on KSOM. We got plenty of other football coaches to talk to. So if you're watching us on YouTube, we thank you for joining us. And flip over to KSOM on the radio. And we have plenty of coaches. I got Nate. You're going to take notes to Nate McKailson. He's going to be coming up later on from Underwood. But up first, I think we have HSTW. I talked with Davis Patee last night after their big win over Missouri Valley to start the season. So that's all coming up. Our coverage here of the high school football preview show brought to you by Community Insurance, Conductic Swampler, Union State Bank, Marnie Elkhorn Communications, Mertz Welding, Armor Insurance, Lyman Ag, FNB, Griswold Communications, Randy Schroeder, Farm Bureau Financial Services, Brumley Supplies, Cumberland Telephone Company, Hummel Insurance, Seed Pros, Messina Telephone, Olson's Fuel Supply, and Midwest Heritage. We roll on here on KSOM.
When it comes to internet, TV, and phone service in Southwest Iowa, trust the team that calls this area home. Marnie Elkhorn Communications delivers fast, reliable connections for families, farms, and businesses. And we don't just stop there. We proudly support our youth, sporting events, and all the communities we serve. Because we're not just your provider, we're your neighbor. Now offering voice over IP phone service to businesses. Marnie Elkhorn